Videos of alien encounters, werewolf sightings, and strange animal behavior widely flooded the internet. This evidence not only forces us to consider what lurks in the shadows, but also prompts us to question the conventional thinking that believes that we are alone in the world. In this video, we are going to show you Trail Cam Captures What No One Was Supposed to See Part 21. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Dancing deer. This next trail camera caught a deer dancing. At first glance, viewers thought the deer might have walked into a nest of fire ants. But on second thought, she could also be engaged in a behavior called spotting or pranking. Spotting is when a deer is startled or frightened. They jump into the air, kicking their legs out before landing on all fours and running away. This behavior is seen in various species. They use this behavior as a means of communication and to signal their fitness and alertness to potential predators. Bobcat versus coyote. This video clip shows a few photos from a trail camera. A man captured a rare, intense standoff between a coyote and a bobcat on his trail cam. The footage shows the two animals facing off, with the coyote appearing to be on the defensive as the bobcat advances. Despite their similarities in size, the bobcat wins the standoff and the coyote eventually retreats. While bobcats and coyotes rarely fight, each knows the other is a formidable foe. This kind of confrontation is not unusual among wild animals, as they are often competing for the same resources such as food and territory. It's interesting to see the dynamic between the two species, and it's a reminder that not everything has to come to blows. Elk. The animal in the photograph is clearly a bear, but it has a set of large antlers similar to those of an elk growing from its head. The antlers appear to be fully grown and well-formed, which has led some experts to believe that the animal is not a genetic mutation or a hoax, but an actual hybrid of a bear and an elk. Now, the idea of a bear-elk hybrid seems highly unlikely. Bears and elk are from different families, and hybridization is rare in animals with distinct genetic makeup, and there is no scientific proof that such crossbreeding is possible in nature. So is this a hoax, or are we going to call it a belk? Unicorn elk. A trail camera set up in the woods of Colorado captured a mysterious unicorn-like creature wandering through the forest. The animal with a single horn protruding from its forehead has caused a great deal of speculation and excitement among local residents and even some wildlife experts. As we've all been taught, the existences of unicorns are purely fictional. They're mythical creatures. And it's impossible for a real animal to have a single horn protruding from its forehead. This seems like a real animal, and that's really a horn. In all honesty, it looks like a perfectly healthy elk with some type of mutation that makes the horn grow from its head. Some people are claiming that this is photographic trickery. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. Sleepy deer. This next trail cam capture comes from Brian Salmon. At first glance, he thought he had a deer die right in front of his camera. However, the photo actually shows deer visiting and sleeping in the same spot nearly every night. Salmon says the deer, a young buck, calmly walks up to the spot every few nights and just lies down. It's unusual behavior, as deer are known to be skittish, and they avoid sleeping in the same place for multiple consecutive nights. He agrees with how interesting it is to see this. He agrees it's really cool to see this and thinks it may have something to do with this particular location being safe, or the deer just feeling really comfortable. Experts say it could indicate that the area is a migration or feeding location. I'd be interested to know what the experienced outdoorsman thinks about this. It's always fascinating to see wild animals in their natural habitats. Massive black panther. In this video clip, a Mississippi man was left perplexed after spotting what appears to be a massive black cat walking through a field. And even experts can agree on what they saw. The strange encounter occurred as David Slaughter was pulling into a Wendy's in the city of Hernando. David noticed something slinking off in the distance after initially thinking that he was watching a deer or a coyote because of its size. He then realized that the creature was actually some type of cat. David, who was over 100 yards away from the animal, took out his phone and started filming. As he looked more intently, and from his tail, he could definitely tell it was a cat. I mean, look at that tail. That thing is massive. He swears it wasn't an overgrown house cat like some people have said, and authorities agree with him. An expert with the Mississippi Department of Wildlife quickly dismissed the mystery feline as a house cat, claiming the pointed shape of the creature's ears confirmed that conclusion. However, the city and county animal control weren't excited about the Department of Wildlife, claiming that the creature is a much more dangerous mountain lion. Nevertheless, everyone is currently on the lookout for the big cat. Vampire deer. Often known as the vampire deer, this little guy was picked up from a trial camera. This is the Chinese water deer, a small herbivore mammal native to China and Korea. These smaller deer typically weigh between 33 to 65 kilograms and stand around 2 to 3 feet tall at the shoulder. Obviously, they are known for their large tusk-like teeth, which both males and females have. Besides the fact that it looks menacing, it is unclear as to why evolution chose fangs over antlers for this deer. One expert suggests that all deer had both fangs and antlers at one point, and over time the larger deer kept the headgear and the smaller deer did away with them in favor of the teeth. Misplaced antler. Speaking of antlers in the wrong places, a deer caught on a trail camera has been captured with an antler stuck in its neck. The footage shows the deer moving around with the antler protruding from its neck, seemingly unbothered by it. This type of phenomenon is called cross-browsing, where buck during root engages in intense fights and one of them can get their antlers stuck in another's flesh. While it may look painful, these types of injuries are usually not life-threatening, and the deer will typically be able to remove the antler on its own. But of course, in some cases, the protrusion may cause significant damage to the animal, its vision and mobility, making it more vulnerable to predators or disease. It's always amazing to see the way these animals have the capability to adapt and heal. UFO. There has been a recent increase in reports of UFO sightings by pilots. These sightings have occurred all over the world and have been reported by pilots of commercial and military aircraft. The pilots have described the UFOs as being a variety of shapes and sizes, and some have reported that the objects were able to move at high speeds and make sudden maneuvers that would be impossible for known aircraft. The FAA has encouraged pilots to report any unusual sightings to the agency, and many pilots have done so. They also state that they take these reports very seriously and investigate each one thoroughly. The military and other government agencies have also been monitoring these sightings. An unidentified flying object, more recently renamed by U.S. officials as an unidentified aerial phenomenon, is any perceived aerial phenomenon that cannot be immediately identified or explained. On investigation, most UFOs are identified as known objects or atmospheric phenomena, while a small number remain unexplained. The increasing number of UFO sightings reported by pilots has led to a renewed interest in the phenomenon of UFOs and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Brazilian puma. This video captured around midnight shows farm goats in Brazil relaxing during the cooler evening. However, suddenly they catch wind of something and realize they aren't alone. As the stragglers retreat to the comfort of the herd, it's kind of eerie to see all of their eyes looking in the same direction, trying to see what they're sensing. Well, it doesn't take long to see what they're worried about as a puma enters the camera. I am curious as to why the cat paused there for a moment. Maybe he heard a person or something. Anyhow, the puma corners them and takes his pick. Quicker than he enters, he's out of there. He leaps the goat in his mouth. Kentucky apparition. The security camera system of a home in Henderson, Kentucky, recently captured eerie footage of what appears to be an apparition. The homeowners Pamela and Rick Carter were so spooked by the footage that they are now considering moving from their home. The strange scene was reportedly captured earlier this month at Carter's home. According to the couple, the potential spirit had been spotted in the flesh a few days earlier when they saw a strange man walking down the street before disappearing, Pamela said. It was the second time the mysterious figure had been spotted. 2 days later, they checked the security footage and saw the same mysterious individual again, this time seemingly materializing out of thin air at the end of their driveway. A possible apparition is clearly some kind of figure that takes a few steps down the street and then dissipates into thin air. When Pamela went outside to look for the man, she didn't see anyone. On a similar note, it wasn't just Pamela who noticed some spooky things going on in their area. The following day, her neighbor admitted to having a ghost living in her house. The mother of two claims she feels like someone is listening when she's alone in the house and has even felt someone throwing something at her. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.